friends. Alright, I don't normally share videos while driving, but just felt like the right time, so I thought I would just try it out and jump on it. Okay, I wanted to talk about adding things to ourselves. And I'll share this concept, this perspective as I see it, that every experience we have adds to ourself and our system, almost like a file folder of all of our experiences, which is pretty similar to the concept shared in, I talked about in the You Have Access to Everything presentation video. So if all of our experiences just added to our file folder, we had a file folder full of every experience we've experienced, laughing, hugging, friendship, loyalty, betrayal, problem solving, how to bake, like how to adapt a recipe, also like overcoming the fear of trying something new, the experience of swimming in warm water and cold water, just all kinds of things. Everything we experience adding into our file folder of like, oh yeah, I've got a file folder on this and on this. I can pull it out and utilize the knowledge I have in that topic or that category. I can also pull it out and see what skills or brainstorming ideas I have for this topic or this category. Or if we have areas where we haven't had any experience yet, then the file folder may be empty and we don't have many ideas or brainstorming, problem solving ideas. We don't have any skills. So we're just experiencing a certain concept or arena of life for the first time, and it's all new, and so we're just newly encountering it, and kind of like writing notes of like, oh, so I didn't, so far I've noticed that in this arena of life, like as a kid, like ordering food at a restaurant by yourself for the first time, like, wow, I feel a little nervous. I kind of forgot what I wanted. I just said grilled cheese because I forgot what the ideas were, the other options on the menu. I stuttered a little bit. The waitress had to lean in and ask me to say it again. Like, wow. Okay, so that's how that went for the first time. Beforehand, I didn't have any concept of what it would be like, or I might have preconceived notions of like my mom says it so easily. I assumed that's what it'd be like for me. I didn't know that I might feel, and after that experience, now I know I'm going to decide what I want to order, and then I'm going to repeat it to myself, in my mind several times until it's my turn to make sure I say the thing I actually want, etc. Okay, so what's interesting is that our life adds experience to us, positive or negative, or our inexperience doesn't add to us. So I listened to an interview at some point about a guy who did discomfort training. He said he was really uncomfortable with getting rejections. Well, I think, so is discomfort training specifically around that topic? But I don't remember if his reason was that he wanted to overcome being afraid of discomfort in general, or if it was specific to rejections. I think it might have been rejection training. So he's like, yeah, I haven't been rejected very often, like when asking people on a date or selling something, and I'm very scared to experience it, or I've only experienced it a few times and I'm scared of it. And so his mentor assigned him to get rejected 5 times a day, and so he would have to like try to get rejected. So he'd go to like fast food restaurants and request something crazy, because the likelihood is they'd say, I'm sorry, no, we can't do that for you, and then he'd go, good, okay, there's my first one. Anywho, so he said that at the beginning he was really nervous and scared, but then after racking up tons of experiences of being said no to and being rejected, he had lots of skills on how to cope with the emotions, how to handle it, new perspectives, and new beliefs about it, including that like it's not a big deal, it's not a problem, it's not personal, I didn't hurt them in the process, I didn't get hurt in the process, it's just information, I just asked a question and they gave the answer. So by the end of it, his file folder was just chock full of skills and multiple experiences that he could draw on. If he went into a situation where someone rejected him, he probably likely, because he's had so many experiences, he's likely been in a very, very similar situation. Maybe even identical. And so he even has very specific experience that he could draw on. Yeah, so what's really cool about experiencing is that it can build us. It can build our file folders, which make us more equipped for life. When we have access to more knowledge and experience and skills, then we become more capable of more things. Okay, so then I have one more example that was coming through. If we have a lot of experience of being grumpy and very short and very rude to people, then that all gets recorded in our file folder. And we are a person who has a big file of how to be grumpy, how to be rude, how to be mean, and for how people can experience us as grumpy, short, rude, disrespectful. And also how people experience us factors into our own file folders, our own experiences. So if a person has never been kind or compassionate or patient, and their file folders are empty, then they won't have very much access to doing that. If they're in a situation where they say, like, I want to experience being kind and compassionate in the situation, but their file folders are empty, they don't have much experience or skills, the likelihood of them actually just blurting out something really rude is pretty high, because they don't have much kindness and patience added to them, like inside of them. So they can choose. If we want something, we need to build it. So if they choose that they want to add that to themselves, then practicing it, doing whatever skills, whatever experiences will practice doing it. Yoga is often called a practice because, and here's my interpretation, because not only does the body need constant nourishment and constant movement just to be alive on a daily basis, just to maintain itself, but also if we want to be able to position our body and stretch certain muscles, it's not just like a one and done thing of like, oh yeah, I once held my arm backwards like that, my deltoid and pec is stretched forever, like I've done it, it's done. There's a lot more to it, and it's not only does it require practicing and repeating many times to gain skill, nuance, about how to roll the shoulder, about how to pull it back to get different muscle fibers in the pec. Not only does it require a lot of repetition to gain more skill and nuance, but it's also something that requires the muscle itself will change day to day based on if we've been really tense or we've been typing a lot, whatnot. So it's a moving entity, moving target. So yoga is often called a practice because you are practicing it, and with every repetition of practicing something, you gain more mastery, you gain more knowledge, you gain more experience. So if someone wanted to become a person who has the skill and capability to be kind, then they would need to practice it to add that attribute and ability to themselves. Similar for negative negative things can be added to us by if we've just repeatedly been doing negative things, either choosing to act negatively or inaction of not, choosing inaction. Then those are all habits and file folders that we are adding to. Okay, so this applies in a lot of ways. Also, another cool thing is that even negative experiences or painful experiences or traumatizing experiences can add positively to us. If someone especially children. Children don't have a lot of options, as many options as adults do, about how to manage things, especially in family dynamics. And so if someone is very emotionally explosive and violent, and they're a family member that they live with, and as a child you can't just be like, moving out, I'm gonna go get new roommates. You have to deal with it. You have to just find what options you have and then just do the best you can to manage. And so a child might come up with the idea, the solution of, I'm just going to try and keep them happy all the time. And I'm going to try and be funny to make them laugh, to give me a better chance that they're going to be happy more often. And so even though it was done under duress, the person, that child, as they grow up, they actually do acquire a lot of skills from the experience, a lot of skills of humor, nuanced skills and knowledge about humor, this ability to sense other people's, like read other people's emotions, and also the ability to be very flexible if they've practiced setting aside their own needs to try to meet the needs of another person to keep them happy. That's a form of codependency. It's not great, but after practicing it for years and years in their childhood, they actually do acquire skills of flexibility, of finding ways, internal locus of control, finding ways to meet their own needs for happiness and ability to be happy even while doing without some of their own needs met. So, luckily, even negative experiences, negative or painful or traumatizing experiences, can add positivity to us. It often takes like looking at it and analyzing to notice, like, oh, okay, there it is. I see the positive things that were added to me from that experience, and then after seeing them, I'll embrace them and use them as such and clean off the negative, codependent or being responsible for other people's emotions things, clean that out, and then keep the positive attributes and abilities. Okay, so then the last thing was, if we're not yet in a full, amazing, 100% thriving state, which is not, that's kind of like the end of the journey. So maybe, I don't know that 100% is possible in human life, or maybe we can experience it at moments and then it doesn't stay very long. But point being, if we want to experience more, it's going to include changing, which often includes adding things to ourselves. So if we can look around at what we would like to experience and become, then one way to get there is to add it to ourselves. If we want to experience more connection and being understood, then practicing communication skills and practicing repeatedly many times, many times, to add the skill and then grow it bigger and bigger, so that our file folder is full of nuanced knowledge and skill and mastery that we can pull on. So same with connections, same with conflict resolution, same with any wonderful thing that we'd like in our life. The more we do it, the more we engage with it, the more our system, literally, energetically, will be added to, those things will be added to our energy field, and they will be found in our energy field because we added them. And so a lot of life, the necessity of it, does that for us automatically, or like forces it, in a sense of, like, you have to interact with people and negotiate to survive, to, manage having food to eat. Luckily, life and existence kind of forces this on us. If you're just rude to everyone all the time nonstop, like, who's going to be willing to sell food to you? Who's going to be willing to be your neighbor? Who's going to be willing to buy from you? It kind of necessitates us needing to gain and practice positive skills in some way, but we can also consciously choose it, which is great. It just makes life amazing, makes it better. Okay, so it may have been convoluted. Sometimes when I'm channeling my thoughts, it might go all over the place, but whatever you glean for you, or if that brings up any creative ideas in your mind, that's what I'm all about. So if you got anything from that, fantastic. All right, and have a wonderful day.